Hello, my name is Catherine Ludwig. I'm with Discover Moose Jaw, and right now I'm talking with Carson Bell and John Bell, the second place participants in the 30-second walleye competition, and they won the biggest fish out of the competition. So how do you guys feel about that?
Well, I'll talk about the big fish because it was quite a surprise. I had caught an 11 pounder years ago and thought that was the biggest fish I'd ever catch. So I got it mounted. And to my surprise, during the Father's Day weekend tournament, we hooked onto an 11.5 pound walleye and got it in and got it weighed right away. And it was awesome. And it put us above and helped us with the weight on day one to get a real high weight. And we were looking good after that.
Well, I don't doubt it. And how do you feel, Carson?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal to see a fish that size. You fish your whole life and you just hope to see something that big come in your boat, and it finally happened. So it was definitely a pretty special experience.
Oh, I bet. So how long have you guys been fishing walleye?
Since I could walk, probably myself. Um,
Yeah,
probably.
I got a picture of Carson when he's on the shores of Diefenbaker holding up some what he would call rainbow shout, and that's his pronunciation up then. And we've been fishing together for years. Uh, Carson and I got together and got a boat last year, and a newer boat. We were tired of using with the used stuff, and you really need a reliable boat when you're fishing these tournaments. And yeah, so I've been fishing all my life, and you pick up things from different people and over the years, different tricks to the of fishing, and some days they work, some days they don't. But I mean, cumulative speaking, it's kind of neat to kind of think about some of the different techniques and put those to use out there in the water.
Oh, absolutely. And the techniques is actually something I want to ask you guys about. What kind of different techniques do you have to use to catch walleye apart from, I don't know, regular fishing?
A lot of people like to use bottom bouncers and troll, whether it's spinners or not more natural presentations like Lindy rigs. But some people also just spot lock or anchor and just vertical jig.
Yeah, I like the trolling too because you can cover some water, especially when you're in a tournament. You zigzag the shoreline, try to get that bottom bouncer. It's a little bit of a weight with a hook, attached, and you get down to that 15-foot range or 20-foot range, whatever you're trying to get to. And sometimes when you find those fish, you can sit there and work them for a while. But trolling's kind of fun too. It's a little bit more exciting. Kind of see a little bit of the lake and chat with people.
Oh, well, that's good. So, how long have you guys been competing then?
Last year was actually our first year with a nice, reliable boat. So we entered the Moose Jaw Wildlife Federation tournament out of Buffalo Pound last year, and then we went in that one again as well this summer. And then our first time at the Riverhurst one, so it was our third tournament.
Very nice. And in this tournament, the Riverhurst tournament, you won second place. So, what were the requirements to get to second place or to win the tournaments? Like, what did you guys have to do?
Basically, it's a 2-day tournament, and it's just total pounds. And they try and get 100 teams. I believe this year was 96 teams roughly. And it's just so each team can have 5 walleye per day in your boat, and you're just trying to get to the highest total pounds between those
Okay.
five. Yeah.
I see. And I think you already told me a little bit about the winning fish of the biggest fish that you got, but tell me a bit more. How exactly heavy was it?
It was 11 and a half, and the fish tournament's over, so I'll just say what I use. It was a perch spinner blade with a double harness leech that we caught that one on. The good thing is we weighed that one in right away, and we came back to the spot that we were fishing, and Carson hooked on to another 9 pounder. So that again helps with your totals. And then it's so well run that the tournament, the Central Butte. Wildlife Federation, the town of Riverhurst, the prizes that they collect, the volunteers, they're great. And it's just great to walk into that rink at the end of the day, and then you look up and all the you have the leaderboard there and you have all the teams, and to see that you're in first place after day one was quite a shock to see. And we had an 8 pound lead on day one with those bigger fish. thinking that was going to be like give us a little bit of luck for day 2, but we had a fairly average day on day 2. But nevertheless, good talking to all the different teams up there and strategies, and yeah, very well run.
The Riverhurst Rec Board does a really good job of putting it on and has a lot of volunteers, and it's really good for the community.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. Do you guys plan to continue competing next year?
I'm addicted to it now, so
Yeah.
as many as I can get in.
I like to hear that.
Our final, I mean, it was, we're still kind of debating whether we'd do anything different on day 2, because we finished up with 38.34 pounds, and the winning team was 38.36. So we lost out by just, a little bit of an
Just a
ounce, a
bit.
few drops of water.
Yeah.
But, still very fortunate to finish second with all the, the skilled boaters and skilled fishermen that are in that group out there.
And were you guys the only team from Moose Jaw? Or were there other people?
I believe there'd be a handful of teams from Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
No one I really know personally, but you just kind of recognize faces.
Yeah.
And I love that you're a father and son fishing. Do you always fish together?
As much as possible.
Yeah, and and that's kind of the selling point too for that they try to advertise. It's on the Father's Day weekend. They give prizes for father-son team, male-female team, father-grandson team. So they really talk about it's really advertised as a real kind of family-based event too. I mean, there's a lot of buddies that have been together, but you wouldn't believe how many husband and wife teams and boyfriend and girlfriends teams are too, which is great to see. It's just a really great competition.
Well, that's wonderful. So, how much did you guys win for second place? What did you guys get for a prize?
So our total for second place, we got a nice check for $3,500, and then for the biggest walleye of the tournament, or Saturday, it was $940 for that. So we took home a decent check.
And some nice prizes too. Like the sponsorships that they get from the community, from the co-ops, the Cabela's, all the different businesses. We walked home too with a cooler and a Cabela's rocking chair and over $4,000 in cash for getting that big walleye too. So it was we had smiles on the way home.
Yeah, you guys walked home with your hands full, and rightfully so. I'm sure it was so much fun. Well, that was kind of all that I wanted to ask you about. Is there anything else that you wanted to add about the competition and the experience?
I just want to say thanks to the Riverhurst Rec Board and Central View Wildlife. They do a really great job, and it's just awesome what they do in the community.
Yes. Yeah, all the volunteers. I mean, if you can think when you're trying to put 50 boats in the water in the morning and you have 45 minutes to do that, you have volunteers at the top of the hill, you have people in the water unhooking your boat just so that the tournament can run smooth. But yeah, great team effort up there in Riverhurst.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it, and congratulations on your victories.